Hello, everybody, and welcome to Weird World. I'm Jeff, your host, and we're going to be talking about an article that came up lately. Is it time to end the sexist scheduling of sporting events? Hmm, let's talk about that, shall we? Oh boy. This came out obviously the 1st of September. It says new research suggests that a small schedule shift could change everything for women's sports. And it won't hurt men either. Sure. What would that possibly be? Let's talk about it. Once upon a time, I was married to a basketball star, a woman who dribbled by the age of 4 and had been drafted at the age of 17 by one of the top 3 teams in college basketball. At 21, she quit the sport that was her life stream and motivating passion in life. Why? Because despite her excellence, she knew that she would never be able to make a living doing what she loved, have a family, or fit into the too small Southern ideals of what it means to be a woman if she kept playing. Unfortunately, the tale of my dearly beloved is absolutely the norm. Sure, we've been talking about gender inequality in sports for decades, but precious little has been done to ensure that women's athletics ever become more than a second-class sporting event. Because nobody cares. That's why. Nobody's spending the money. Hell, women don't even want to watch women's sports. The only sports men want to be able to watch that a woman's in is either she's going to get her ass kicked or if it's volleyball. Because usually they got some really hot women in that are playing volleyball. And they're usually pretty good. Usually, so I don't think I've ever seen even a woman or a men's volleyball team the game wasn't a good one. So that says something. Because at least in so as that are, if they're not very good, at least you can be able to look at them, and at least you got something to do. But anyways, but now even experts are getting vocal on the issue. Ooh. A new study which was published this week in the British Journal of Sports Medicine argues that a small shift in the way sporting events are scheduled could make a giant shift in our culture. Okay, sure. Let's go for it. What is this? Before I go on, I have to note the obvious absurd to allow the gender binary to prevail at the highest levels of human performance. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, wow, some people have, okay, is it just me? Before I go on, I have to note the obvious absurd to allow the gender binary to prevail at the highest levels of human performance. Okay. Wow. Way to go in writing. Okay. Now I know I never heard of you before. In case you weren't aware, women's games, even at the highest levels of competition, almost always precede men's. Right? Hell, be happy you're even around the men. That you're even going to be scheduled right around them. That means that men get primetime coverage and female athletes become the warm-up act. Right. Because men are much better. Hell, man, even what was it? The women's soccer team, the professional soccer team, they lost to a 16-year-olds at soccer. The 16-year-old boys beat the snot out of the professional award-winning women's team. In fact, there was even one where they had it where they went up against 60-year-old men. And the 60-year-old men beat the living snot out of them. And have you ever tried watching an actual? I actually tried. Like, there was just too much. There was just too much. I actually tried watching a couple of women's sports. One was soccer, and the other one was basketball. I couldn't even imagine. No, it was just absurd. They were horrible. I mean, the missing. I mean, they couldn't shoot with crap. They couldn't pass with crap. The games were just horrible to watch. They were no fun to watch. I turned it off and went on over to be able to do something more entertaining, like wash my hair. That's obviously one job. All right, but in any case, in case you weren't aware, women's games, even at the highest levels, was always precede men's, right? Duh. Now, we call on the International Olympic Committee and all major sports federations around the world who run events in which both men and women compete, such as tennis. Tennis is okay. I have to admit some of that, especially Serena. She's good. But even she admits she doesn't ever want to face a man on the other end of that tennis. Nope. She refuses and says no. She goes, I don't want to be humiliated, I do believe is her quote on that one. Because she knows there's no way she could beat a man. So, it's just silly. But that's also, now this is about money and about prime time. If nobody wants to watch the game, nobody's going to put women's games on prime time. Because they want viewers. They don't want people just clicking off and going somewhere else. That loses them money. You want to be able to make a bunch of stuff that all you're going to do is lose money? Follow Disney and Warner Brothers example. All these examples of all the Disney crap and all the other stuff, and then you'll learn some of that, how to be able to lose crap loads of money. And they've been losing billions. Now, Warner Brothers just threw away some of the entire movie and some of that will never see the light of day, and it cost them about $100 million to make a movie. It's finished. Warner Brothers just said, forget about it. We're just going to shelve it. We're not even going to bother even just showing the movie because it's not worth it. So then Warner Brothers decided they would rather spend $100 million and not have the embarrassment and all the extra cost to have a movie that's just going to bomb and fail miserably. And they would rather eat the $100 million loss. That's something else. Doesn't that tell you something? And then all of a sudden you actually want TV stations to throw away money too? No. People only watch games that are entertaining, that actually they're interested in. I don't know of any. I don't think I've ever seen any other women's soccer or basketball games. I did see hockey. I did see like a college hockey female stuff. They could be ruthless. Oh, yeah. If you ever want to be able to watch that kind of stuff and stuff, you can always go, and here in America, you can go on over to your local hockey rink, right? And they usually have like D-League teams. So and there's women, men, co-op, and you can be able to watch games for free. Well, here you can, where state I live in. I can just go right down to the local one and so that any time for the most part, and be able to watch free games. I can be right there in the stands and wherever and watch, be live right there with it. It doesn't cost me anything. So, even if you don't know anything about sports ball, who is this author? This makes good common sense. No one is going to stop watching NBA or men's soccer games if they come on in an hour. Yeah, but why would they bother to watch a horrible game and then get to the men? But people would be more likely to watch more women's games if they were presented at more accessible times. No, they won't. They just won't bother to turn it on until the game starts. Oh, no, that's wrong. That just simply means that they will go on over to Sports Center or any of the other pre-game stuff and just keep on watching that until the game starts, like they usually do. Yeah, not like I don't know how that works. All right. So that's not going to help you because nobody's spending the money to buy your tickets. Nobody's spending the money to be able to buy your merchandise. Nobody's buying the tickets to get in, buying the merch. Nobody wants to watch the games. So there's no incentive to actually bother with it because who wants to be able to watch crap? At least to me it is. And from a lot of people I know, there's no value in it whatsoever. Imagine a world in which little female assigned people, little female assigned people get to see grown-up versions of themselves in TV. Holy crap. Okay, this must be some seriously woke. Who the hell wrote this crap? Tracy Ann Deacon. Okay, so this okay, and she married, assuming it's a she nowadays. Okay, so then she married a woman. I was married to a basketball star. Okay, so then she was married to a woman basketball star? To a basketball star. But how could she be a basketball star if she never actually became a star at anything? Okay. All right, I have no idea. But anyways, so supposedly in Soviet, if you they have some ideas for scheduling. So if you actually scheduled the games for the men to play before, they're going to stick around in order to be able to see the women play later. No, they won't. They won't. That thing will be turned off so fast it won't be funny. And then the TV stations are going to lose money. TV stations don't want to lose money. All right, well, hear about this and so that. All right, well, what's this? Importantly, airing women's sports in prime time would also force big sponsors to take female athletes more seriously. No, it wouldn't. Because there's that prime time is only good. Prime time is because, well, people primarily watch at that time. Prime time. If you put on crap that nobody wants to watch, they just turn off. And then it's not prime time anymore. And then the stations lose money. In fact, women the world over have recently been publicly turning down sponsorship opportunities. That's stupid. In part because some of these giant sports labels don't treat women fairly. Well, if you want to be stupid, be my guest. Better sponsorship opportunities could play into a long-term culture shift. They have to make money on these sponsorships. Otherwise, there's not... Even the sponsors and so choose who they're going to be having as their sponsors. Duh. Because it makes them money. If it's not going to make them money, they're not going to offer the sponsorships. Kind of a duh. All right. I mean, it's not rocket science here, people. And all that money and attention could also change the lives of female athletes immediately. except that they're not going to get the money because there's no money in it for the companies. And attention is worthless because who's going to bother to pay attention to them? At least positively. I mean, you'd have to be really good at whatever it is. I think that it's the most major female athlete that makes a crap load of money and she gets good sponsorships and everything is Serena Williams. She's a fantastic tennis player. She's really good women's tennis player. A fantastic one. So, and she just had her child or something like that not that long ago, and she's already in her 40s. So, wow. But even then, she still made it, pretty far into the last little thing, whatever, from what I read. It's not like I'm going to watch it. But, that's what, she made it pretty far into it, which was awesome. Take, for example, the case of Brittney Griner, whoever that is. Despite the fact that she is a top athlete, Griner has been low-key famous since she was in high school. Real low-key. I don't know what she is. She was basically working a second job when she took that fateful trip to Russia. Isn't that one athlete and so a woman player, basketball player who got caught with marijuana in Russia? Sure, Griner is sponsored by Nike. Why? But there's a really big difference between getting some free shirts and a bit of cash and getting billions to put your name on a shoe. Yeah, that's for like what? How many people have been able to do that? Only a handful, maybe? Maybe? And she ain't that good. She can't be. I never even heard of her. Except for when she got arrested for pot possession in Russia, and now she's going to spend the next 9 years in prison there. Hey, man, you can't do what you want everywhere you go. How different? If she thinks that's bad, she's lucky she didn't go to Japan or Singapore. I mean, there and some of that. You get arrested for possession of drugs, they kill you, or etc. I mean, the penalties are very severe. Even in Japan. I mean, damn. I mean, you're lucky that she got busted in Russia. Let's see now. In other dumpster fire news, how different could things have been for our beloved Serena Williams if women's sports actually took place on an equal playing field? Why are you bringing Serena into this? She's a fine woman. Why? Oh, well, okay, let's read this. Williams commented on this in her recent editorial in Vogue when she announced her retirement. Really? Oh, yes, right. She was talking about retiring. Well, she's been doing this a long time. I never wanted to have to choose between tennis and a family. I don't think it's fair. Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember that, yeah. If I were a guy, I wouldn't be writing this because I'd be out there playing and winning while my wife was doing the physical labor of expanding our family. Well, yeah. Men don't carry children. Women do. Duh. And I'm pretty sure that she might actually be enjoying this whole being able to be a mom. Just for thought. I mean, she doesn't seem to be unhappy when she's with her family. There's more than enough money to go around in the world of sports. Even the television industry wants fair play in women's sports. That'll cost them money. Data from Nielsen, the TV ratings organization. So Nielsen wants this. Nobody else. Supports the idea that small changes in scheduling and sponsorship would be good for female athletes and sponsors. Yeah, my foot. So it is not the television industry wants fair play in women's sports. They already have fair play in women's sports. It's only one particular company that happens to be in the television industry that they're quoting as the entire television industry. None of what the authors are proposing would hurt male sports. You're right. Somebody would care. And the positive impact it could have on young female, not this stupid crap again, on young female assigned people. That is so stupid. Following these experts' recommendations could simultaneously move us closer to gender equality, change the lives of thousands of professional female athletes right now, help close the gender pay gap in sports. Oh, I thought that had already happened of that. And even then, of the gender pay gap in sports was already disproven that there was no, there was a pay gap because most of the players get paid. I mean, there's this whole thing on all of that and how unfair. In their new deal, the women are getting paid a buttload more than the males are. It's just insane. Yeah, but I mean, in all truth and so that's the stupidity of the sports company, sports. So whatever. It's where it was female soccer. So there's the female sports industry and stuff like that. And you want to throw away money, be my guest. And here's this. And it might also encourage universities to change their policies on women athletics, which are atrocious. What? Well, yeah, because they know that there's no money in it. They're not going to get the sponsors. They're not going to get the people coming in to watch the games. And they're not going to be selling any merchandise. There's no money in it for colleges to waste their time with female sports. Except for a few of them. And so they allowed to have a loss, but either. So, yes. So when it comes down time to it and so that, that's what it is for now. And